What was something you didn't know you needed until you tried it out? A blackout curtain. Laser eye surgery. Best $3,000 I ever spent. I was blind as a bat for 30 years and now I can just see. No dicking around with contacts or glasses or worrying about staying on top of my prescription. It's amazing. A fan in my room at night. Just sleep so much better in summer now. 8.5 hours of sleep. It's like getting a little bit of superhuman strength the next day. Unfortunately expensive underwear. Sometimes ignorance really is bliss. Edit. Since I'm getting a lot of questions asking for recommendations, I personally love Duluth's Buck Naked. That being said, everyone has different preferences and there are plenty of other recommendations in comments below mine. Best of luck in your undie endeavors. 2 monitors. A routine. I was always kinda loosey when it came to planning my day. Then I tried actually doing and not wishing I had a plan. A proper evening routine made wonders to my sleep and health. Now trying this for the mornings too. A good mattress changes your life. Removed. Exercise. I let myself go for a few years. During that time I didn't notice the differences from not exercising. Then after I started exercising again I was like, wow. I didn't realize how shitty I felt before. The just in case pee before going somewhere without access to a restroom for quite some time. Just happened 2 weeks ago, but I borrowed a power washer from a coworker. Holy shit. After discovering what it cleaned off my fence, newly bought condo, I was wondering what else I could clean with it. Ended up cleaning up the garage floor and manually washing my car and spraying it off with the power washer. Fence looks awesome now and now I am looking into applying a clear sealer on it. Pocket knife. Use it every day. GPS. I think I could go back to dumb phones if it weren't for how nice GPS is. I've even looked into basic phones with GPS, but they're as expensive as smartphones and I'm not confident their service would be as good as Google Maps. Humility. I thought it was a sign of weakness and that others would take credit for your work if you were too humble. Then I read me some C.S. Lewis and my mind was blown. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. A squatty potty. Rumi got one as a gag gift for Christmas and lemme tell you. Instant game changer. Moving out from my parents' place. You don't realize how liberating it is until you're finally free. SSD. Solid state drive. Absolutely everyone who uses a computer should have one of these. There's no more, sorry, my computer's being slow, every business needs this for their employees. Literally $50 turns a slow pile of garbage computer into a fast one. A dishwasher. Never had one growing up or the first few places I lived as an adult. My current apartment has one and I refuse to go back. Bidet. It will ruin pooping anywhere else for you. It has made my bathroom experiences 1,000 times more enjoyable. I have a basic one, but they can get pretty fancy. The cold water is initially uncomfortable, but after 3 or 4 uses, you don't even notice anymore. A weighted blanket. I read about it in another Reddit thread so tried it out and oh sweet lord, last night was the best night of sleep I've had in months and I didn't wake up feeling like I wanted to scream from anxiety. A hug. A good vacuum. Holy shit, it makes an amazing difference. Our house always had that kind of dusty smell and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So after we finally retired our $30 vacuum we went and bought one of the nice $300 ones and we must have had 4 full tanks of dust and hair that was still in the carpets. Apparently to be the little spoon while I'm told how attractive and appreciated I am. -6, too ugly duckling, now somewhat beautiful swan. I do comics and I used to just jump in headfirst into a comic with only a script. But, it made the sketch panel pass a pain. My senior thesis professor once told me to sketch small, fast thumbnails of a scene in my script before I actually drew it. I didn't want to at first, seeing it as just more work. But, turns out it made the process so much faster. I got my thesis done early and had time to animate a trailer for the end of the year showcase. I even won Best Graphic Novel. Always do thumbnail sketches, even for non-sequential art pieces. It will help you if you struggle with composition or silhouette. Prescription sunglasses. Best $200 I've ever spent in my life. Shopping my groceries online. It saves time, taxi money. I don't have a car, and it keeps me from buying junk food. Seat warmers. Oh my god, it was a transcendent experience the first time I used them on a cold night. A dog. I was 100% one of those people who turned down the idea of a dog every time my fiance brought it up. Went to the shelter one day to donate, met a beautiful pup who has now filled my heart with more happiness than I knew I could receive and loves her new life so much. Heart. Menstrual cup. I went into it for eco-friendly reasons, and now depend on it because it makes me actually not realize that I have my period. I'm pretty sensitive, in that I can feel tampon strings and they irritate me. Cups are the only thing that I can't feel and don't smell and allow me to sleep pantslessly. LASIK surgery. Not wearing glasses is awesome. A bath lift. It's like a chair that lowers into the bath and leans back, then raises up again to get out. Total game changer. I could have a bath on my own again. I've tried having a bath without it once since and I ended up in a lot more pain because of moving and trying to balance myself. I suffer chronic pain which makes it impossible to walk more than 10 to 15 meters with crutches, so my mobility is really limited. Edit. Did not expect so much karma and the silver. Thank you kind strangers. I hope those of you with disabilities, chronic illness are having a low symptom day too. Smiley face. Dark mode on apps. It takes a little getting used to at first, but once you're past that it makes your user experience so much better. A weighted blanket. I sleep like a 3-day meth binged out whore during the winter now. A calorie counter. 3 weeks in and I've lost 16 pounds. Wi-Fi connected bedroom lights. Holy shit. You think it's a stupid gimmick until you have them, and let me tell you, they're game changing. A pop socket for my phone. I thought they were useless gimmicks but got a free one, so said I'd try it, and wow, it's actually amazing. Just makes it much easier and comfortable to hold my phone, plus can stand your phone up to watch videos, and it also works as a kind of fidget toy if you're in any way anxious. Holding hands. Made me realize words are overrated. A shoehorn. Pressure cooker. Mom got one from grandma and dad wasn't impressed. A few months later we tried a beef roast, and it turned out awesome. Dad said the last time he did a roast and it didn't turn out dried was before I was even born. Used it a couple more times ever since. Waits for all the bidet comments to flood in. A massage. Seriously, I went for one knot that wouldn't go away. Turns out my whole back was a mess and I feel so much better. Also, so many other knots, sore shoulders, but glad that mess is cleared up. For anyone doing a deep tissue though, I recommend a 90 minutes so you get some relaxation in between the rest. Sobriety. A heart-shaped pillow, only small, a little bit bigger than my head. Picked it up at a store because it just looked kinda cute and I am addicted to pillows. Slept on it with it being turned upside down and the inwards bit fits perfectly around my neck and is so comfortable. Really, y'all should try it. Clothes that fit and have a bit of style. Have been always wearing hand-downs, never really thought about it for 26 years. I was wearing the same t-shirts since 13. Then I keep on replenish the same style of clothes if it ever wears out, which is rare. Went shopping with some female friends and now I need to replace most of my closet. Therapy. I found out some messed things happened to me in childhood that, before speaking with a therapist, I thought was innocent and normal. Turned out I was being groomed into sexual abuse for about 5 years. It made my head spin discovering this as an adult. An AMP, #X200B. Edit, spell check, and also some further detail. I had an assignment with the therapist to create a timeline of times I can remember when I felt extreme emotion distress. The earliest moment I remembered was there was a child care worker, whom my mother had personally knew, so she trusted him, allowed me to spend weekends there for Boy Scout trips, which then evolved into a regular thing. The darker part is I was not the only child that would go to these, but eventually it was apparent that he had a fixation on me. As a young boy, I did not have the best hygiene and kind of just played in the tub for 15 minutes then hopped out. One night, he calls me out for not efficiently washing by gently scratching my arm to obtain some dead skin, shows it to me and says, "Do you see that? That's filth. You need to go back in there and take another bath and I need to watch you and make sure you get everything." I refused and he states that he is going to call my mother and walks away. Of course, I am terrified that I did a bad thing and my mother would be upset, so when he came back and said he had my mom on the phone, I agreed. He watched and instructed me on how to wash a few instances before he felt like I understood the process and never did it again. An AMP #X200B. When the therapist reads this, her first response is, "Have you been sexually abused before?" An AMP #X200B. Me, confused, "No. What makes you ask that?" Therapist, "I have reason to believe this person had been grooming you. Let's talk about this deeper in the next session. Whatever you do before then, do not feel like it was your fault." An AMP #X200B. I trusted her and waited for the next session. I explained other questionable instances such as him buying me things, giving me special treatment to everyone else at his childcare business located **in his home, him calling me his son in private, and the icing on the cake, whenever I would question things his answers was often something to the degree of, "This is what fathers and sons do together." I also assured the therapist that amidst this saga, I never allowed him to touch me or me touch him anywhere intimate, cause at least that was odd to me as a child, and that this might have explained why around the 5th year he kind of disappeared without notice. The therapist commended me that I did not get molested, however she confirmed to me that he was indeed grooming me into something of use to him, but perhaps because I was not budging he moved on. We from there navigated how that period affected relationships and intimacy as an adult and how to better myself from it. It was life-changing help. An AMP #X200B. Bonuses, how did the mom not know, once the therapist confirmed I decided to share the information with my mom. She broke down in tears because she knew something was off because of how I emotionally reacted when she would keep me away from him, and that the only reason she did not confront anything twas because I never told her of anything suspicious. When I brought up that he called her to let her know he was going to watch me bathe because I did not know how, she told me that he never called her, otherwise she would have told him no, and cried harder. I think she took it harder as parent than I did as a survivor. An AMP #X200B. Where is he currently? Years ago, and before therapy, I bumped into him. He no longer operated a childcare business for unknown reasons. He now had another roommate he met from college, which I immediately figured out that were a homosexual couple. In retrospect, I deduced that he preys on underprivileged, dependent people, not just children, and that I couldn't have been the only. I side of me wanted revenge, but again, therapy helped me make peace. A music subscription. No more waiting to go home to get a song on my phone when I randomly feel like listening to it. Reddit. Cider and donuts. I'm originally from California and had no idea what I was missing. My wife took me to a local cider mill early on in our relationship, and now I can't get through fall without it.